The food service, hospitality, and retail industries are evolving in ways you've never heard of until now. Hosted by global industry technovator Rob Grimes and powered by the IFBTA, TechBytes is your go-to podcast, putting technology innovation and trends on the menu.
Well, welcome to a very special edition of the TechBytes podcast here at FS Tech 25 in Orlando. And as usual, you meet up with a lot of people and have some great conversations. And today I'm really happy to have a conversation, a go-to conversation, I might actually say, with right. Manuel Valdes, who is the Chief Technology Officer at GoTo Foods. So welcome to TechBytes.
Thank you for having me. This is a great opportunity to be here with you.
So do you think that everybody knows the name GoTo Foods? Because, it was for so long, it was under different names and you have all the different brands. Why don't we just start with the description of what is within your portfolio?
Perfect. So, and that's a very good question. So we were formerly, our last name before GoTo Foods was Focus Brands. And last year during our conference, we actually did announce the change. And the change was intentional. We wanted to be more known as a platform management company rather than a portfolio of brands.
You were giving us the background. You described GoTo Foods as a platform, yes, which was announced. And not everybody knows, the word GoTo Foods in this, because they certainly know Focus Brands. So how do you see that as a platform, or just, with the different brands? And let's just talk about the brands.
So instead of being just a collection or a portfolio of brands, so as you know, we are the operators for Antians, Cinnabon, Moe's, Jamba, McAlister, Schlotzsky's, and a very popular ice cream soft serve in the right. Carvel. So by themselves, each brand should not be able to invest the way that we're investing across.
Right.
When it comes to technology infrastructure, when it comes to digital data, marketing technology, point of sale unification. So what we do instead is make sure that we unify the way that our technology is used across, without losing the brand essence. So we're very careful, very intentional about making sure that each brand retains their essence, their individual appeal.
But yet you could go ahead. I mean, you're within the Rourke family, and
yes.
and Inspire's in there, and some other, and they have Batteries Plus. They have a whole bunch of different things in there.
Yeah.
So, in essence, by doing the platform approach, you actually could add other brands in as well and just sort of fit them on the platform, where in the past you had to figure out, how we're going to integrate this. And
that's another one of the objectives, right? We want to be acquisition ready all the time. So if we get another brand, we can actually use the same platform, use the same technology across. And that creates a lot of efficiencies across operations for our franchisees, for ourselves, for technology. Makes our maintenance and support costs cheaper and better.
Right.
But also, we want to make sure that we are always trying to give the best experience to our guests.
But also, it's a challenge for you because you have brands in there like Moe's. And, it's a full service brand. And then you have people like Annie Ann's and Carvel that you mentioned that are, sitting in an airport, right? Or in a very small thing. And the types of technologies that they're using are different. And, it's really different operating, as full service than it is QSR or even trucks, which you guys were doing at one point. So, there's a lot of different opportunities. So you have to really be able to bring that together with some standardized, at least back office pieces in it,
That's
right?
Correct.
And you have franchisees that are of different levels too, because you might have somebody who only has 1 or 2 units, and then you have people that would have a number. So that also creates complexity.
Yes. And we're trying to tackle that complexity by having very strong collaboration with our operations team, with our brands team, and our marketing, our commercial team. So we are always working together to make sure that everything is done in a good manner. So our operations and brand teams have very good relationships with our franchisees. So they handle that. We don't ever do technology use because of the technology.
I don't think anybody really does that anymore. It's sort of past the days when somebody would, I used to use this analogy all the time. You might know this, where your CEO sits in an airplane and pulls that seat back magazine that doesn't exist anymore.
Yes.
And they'd read the Sharper Image catalog and saying, why aren't we doing this like type of technology? Today, it seems like the adoption rate, even of franchisees, you don't have to mandate anymore because they get it.
Yeah.
And the technologies are scalable within operations using platforms, that they can build on.
That is correct. And so we are making sure that we invest in the right technology that is going to facilitate that unification. So we are unifying our point of sale, for example. We are already 2,000 stores into our next POS, queue. And that's going to help us a lot because we have only one point of integration. We extract the data from just one POS. When we are there, it's going to be easier when we do development for like our digital platform. We do it in one way and present it in different ways, right? Like every brand is going to need it. But the more that we are about creating standard platforms, is going to help us better.
And also internationally. I mean, you have some international operations that sort of, adds complexity to it, on top of that, as well. And then you have, all the different labor market and you have different languages and your customers and, it really, but I would say that most of it is becoming a little bit more standardized. So I want to back up for a minute. So you've been there, about 3 years?
2
years. Okay. Is this your first foray into the restaurant industry?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I know a little bit about your background, and I know it's not your first foray in technology, right? But you've done a number of different things. And there's 2 questions that come to mind. The first one is, when you came into the job, and now that you're 2 years into it, I think you probably have a pretty good handle on what you guys are doing. So is there something you didn't expect and you just assume would be done, and you're like, oh, this is sort of interesting, Is there something like that?
I would say, and maybe it's going to sound like a cliche for you because you've been in this industry for so long, but the menu. So we technologies tend to underestimate the menu, the importance of the menu. So I've been doing retail for a number of years, more than a decade, almost like 15, close to 20 years.
Right.
And when you do e-commerce, your catalog it's a commodity. You have a merchandising system that will bring you the data. You just enrich it and move.
And it might go stale, but it's not going to go bad.
Yes,
right.
Correct. And then you
which is a food quality thing that's got to go into the menu too, because you got timing and mix, and it's right. Okay.
So the complexity of the menu is that each store is owning its own menu, its own availability, its even its own set of products that are being offered. So the ability to have that in a scalable manner to manage that, it's really complex. And when you don't do this, when you come from another place and you say, oh my God, this is another catalog, it's just e-commerce, it's just gonna get it done. The complexity of the menu is really.
So that sort of took you by surprise.
Yes.
But look, it's a good, now I'm thinking really quick. It's a good thing you're not doing pizza. I don't think you're doing pizza, right?
No.
Not yet. Not yet. Okay. And we're not going to break any news here. But pizza, if you want to talk about complexity and you think about how many different or even some of the coffee brands, which do have coffee, the different combinations that you can do. But a pizza, because you can mix it up in quadrants, right? And then you got toppings and then you got consistency. So at least you don't have that, but you do have the challenges of, the food market and you also have regional challenges on menu because there's different tastes that are there. And you even have combo units,
yes,
right? So you got to deal with that. So, and you're right. And restaurants are a production plan. And so, you got to deal with that too.
And the holidays. And then we have a bakery, we have sandwiches. And I remember when I used to go to a sandwich place, oh my God, this is easy. I wanted without lettuce, with lettuce, without cheese, with the cheese, and oh my God, it should be easy. Yeah, well, from the other end, when you're supporting that, it's about all the permutations and combinations of a single sandwich. It's pretty complex and can bring
it is. And by the way, so I could tell you, I tend to forget these things, but early on, I actually helped Moe's. With what they were doing when they were headquartered out of not New Orleans, where were they? Memphis, or I forget where they were, but actually helped them with their POS and things like that in the selection piece. But the other part is that when you then go ahead and layer on top of it regulations and health stuff and Do you have to do calorie counts here and there? And it's just a mess, right? But at least all the data's out there. It's a little bit quicker to get, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So if that was one of the things that you noticed, by the way, I wasn't expecting you to bring up that one. I would have thought of something else. Doesn't really matter, but that's interesting. So if the menu sort of took you by surprise, is there, on the opposite side, something from your history of 15 years, working around e-commerce and retail? Is there something that took you by surprise that this industry didn't do?
Standardization. So what I see, and I have seen, and I have friends in other places now that I've been here in the industry for 2 years.
And you're within a family that has a lot of resource too, right?
Yes. So things that you take for granted when you are in e-commerce, you come here and you have to be scrappy. So things are not as connected as you would think.
The tech spend's a little bit different too, right?
Correct. So you have to be very creative and how to make it work in the nice way, in the right way. But this industry has grown, I would say, reacting rather than being proactive. It's changing a lot right now. It's extremely dynamic right now. You see all of these vendors.
So that is an interesting perspective, because for years this industry was known as being behind, for instance, retail, right? Especially like grocery, or people that had all these they had all the technology. There are a lot of money in that, right? In big box retailing. But today, those industries are looking at the food service industry as a leader in delivery, ordering, kiosk, certainly with a lot of retailers are putting in fresh food too. So that's one of those areas, but also drive-through. And, when you see C-stores putting in drive-thrus, you start realizing that that's an opportunity area. And they look at us as a leader in knowing how to do the timing and, how to get people in and out.
And that's where we're going. So investing in drive-thru, table-side ordering, kiosks, it's really, really demanding. And one of the things that I like about the industry is that we are very agile. So we can be fast.
If you have a platform and you got people on the same thing, you can't be as fast when you're distributed, right?
Yeah, and I mean, again,
it took a while for you guys to get there, I'm sure, right?
We're about to finish our digital transformation. So we have a core platform.
You're going to be talking about that here, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So let's talk about it here, right? Because not everybody's attending, and we want them to hear this. Yes. So go ahead.
So we used about to complete our digital transformation. All of our websites and applications are in one code base. So we no longer have one brand doing this, another brand doing that. So the way that our PDPs are done as standard, our ordering, our store selection, those are services. So when we do a modification, we benefit everybody. Group ordering, we do subscriptions. So we're able to get brands in a faster technology adoption than before. It took us some time to get there, but now that we are, it's actually going to help.
It's an investment.
Yes.
But it's an investment in the future. It makes a package. Also, you know what? It's an investment in growth, because it makes it easier for you to expand, add those brands, and do the other things as well. Let's just take a break.
Yes.
And then we'll come back in a minute, because I think we're going to talk a little bit about your past and some experiences there, but also I'm very curious about your observations here. So we're going to take a break, and I'm sitting with Manuel from GoTo Foods, the Chief Technology Officer, and we're having a conversation here at FS Tech, and we'll be right back.
With the rapid expansion of technology in the food and beverage industries, finding the right supplier can become overwhelming and complicated. To simplify this process, the IFBTA created Exchange. Exchange is a powerful search tool where users can easily narrow down their technology search and refine results by application type, geography served, department, and more. Browse resources and learn more about the industry's technology suppliers at exchange.ifbta.org. Now, back to the show.
So welcome back, and I'm having a conversation with Manuel Valdes, who is the Chief Technology Officer at GoTo Foods, and we've started the conversation here at FS Tech, about the digital transformation and the projects that they have, and learning, by the way, that GoTo Foods sees itself as a platform, a technology term here, which I think is very interesting, but also the observation that the last 2 years, coming from outside the industry in retail, one of the big challenges or surprises or aha moments had to be with the menu.
Yes.
which is certainly one of those things that are there. So you do have, everybody has a history, okay?
Yes.
And so your history in the industry. So I know you work for HP. I know you were in Singapore. Yeah, I think you started with HP, but you were in Singapore. And, what are the different types of retail and e-commerce types of things that you were involved in?
Okay, so in addition to Singapore, I was in Thailand, and I spent 3 years over there as the CTO of a major retail organization within the
Which organization?
Central Group.
Oh, I know. So they also do restaurants, right?
They do
They do
everything.
very big. I actually didn't realize that you were at. Okay, well, that's a different conversation we could have, because I host something in Singapore, and Central is certainly on the
Yeah.
agenda for that. So.
Yeah, so Central Group, I was the CTO of the retail corporation, the public arm.
Did you go from here to there?
Yeah.
You were recruited for that.
I was recruited for that.
Had you ever lived in Asia before?
I've never had, and I loved it.
But you're here now.
I'm here now. So I did come back because I had a couple of kids, which still are in a college age. So at some point, I put things in a scale.
Yeah, no, I get it. It's a life balance thing.
But I did love my time in Thailand. It was a major digital transformation. I did something similar to what I'm doing here. We had a groceries building, business unit, electronics, sports,
Yeah.
and department stores. So we unified everybody under the same platform, microservices oriented, web and app, order management. So that transformation took a little bit more going into the back office because of the scale, but it was a great experience.
Do you find that? How many years were you over there?
About close to 3.
Okay, so 3 years. So do you find that? So I do a lot of things in Asia and in Bangkok and Singapore. And I'm involved, the IFBTA is involved with NRF Asia, which is in Singapore.
Yes.
So we have a food service innovation zone coming there like we do in New York. So we see the crossover between it. General observation, have you ever been to NRF?
Yes. I
Okay. Did you go? Oh, no, you wouldn't have gone to the one in Asia because it started after you left. But what I find interesting is some of the crossover technologies. But like the past 2 years when I've gone to Singapore for it, okay, so we won't tell anybody here what I'm about to say to you on this, right? But I've seen technologies that have been introduced here. And for instance, like Vision AI, right? And I saw robotics doing it on wheels, right? And I look at this and go, well, wait a minute. They put this on wheels going through grocery stores and retail over in Singapore and in Asia. They've been doing this for several years.
Yep.
And so it's interesting that sometimes you have to go outside to see those technologies, and like online ordering came from India and came from like Dubai, places where it was very hot. And, so it's just one of those things. So are there some technologies that haven't yet hit us in North America or here in this industry that you think maybe we should be paying closer attention to?
So the countries are different. Okay. So the way I see it is you have to invest on things that are very much needed for you where you are. So as an example, in Asia, the delivery is a big deal.
Yes, it is.
But delivery is also very cheap. So you have to provide technology that scales like in masses.
By the way, did you see the documentary that they did on the guy who started the delivery service in Bangkok?
Yeah.
I like binge watch that on a plane ride coming
Right.
back like 6. Yeah. Amazing story, right?
Yes.
Of how he got into that business. But delivery is huge.
And that thing is major. So the best way to support such a thing is mobile.
Absolutely.
So Asia is ways
in the mapping and everything like that.
yeah, mapping, geolocation, ability to support not only just food delivery.
But do you think that they develop those technologies themselves? Because later on today, I'm going to talk with somebody who used to be the chief technology officer of Domino's Pizza. Now, many years ago, they did the mapping, they did the things. Do you think we imported that kind of technology from pizza? Because they're over there, right? Over there? Or do you think that they came up with these technologies there?
I believe it was cross-pollination. So there was some that happened here, some that they took, and they just put it together, blended, and then got it to where it is. But there is extremely good talent over there. That's one thing that I was.
And there's a lot of development too. And the government, just funds the development, right? A lot of startup hub.
A lot of that. Vietnam is also extremely heavy on that.
Place I haven't been, but I'd like to go.
So we had some businesses in Vietnam. Another big C, which was not ours in Bangkok, was ours in Vietnam. And then we had some European things. So, but Vietnam, we have a development center, and we see very, very, very good talent over there, and very cost effective. So we have a combination of Vietnam, India, some.
Do you
Thai.
take advantage of that in your current job?
I do.
I do.
I
mean, because, I've done a lot of outsourcing of call centers, and, certainly nearshore, offshore, and longshore, so everywhere from the Philippines to Mexico to, India, so I've done that. And, there's a lot of great development shops, and they're inexpensive. Voice is a little bit different sometimes, but with some, I'm actually sort of wondering what's going to happen with those call centers where people didn't want to do business outside North America because of accent reduction and things. But now we can go ahead and enhance it with AI and actually change. Gee, there's an interesting idea. We could just change the voice, right? That's there.
It is
Which
getting
would be
there.
very interesting. And then you could change it and link it to who's calling in. So if they're calling in from Texas, they get one. I don't know where we're going with this, but it'd be an interesting thing, right?
But the key to that is to have your customer information.
Well, yeah, you have to have the customer. Well, it's about, okay, so the key words that I'm hearing this year are like personalization, frictionless, certainly platform is one of them as well. So if you think about personalization and customization, that applies to how we treat our stores and our employees as much as it applies to our customers.
Yes, and we are investing heavily also on data. So data integration across all of our brands and across all of our systems. So we extract data from our point of sale, from our loyalty system.
Do you have to do it yourself, or do you have a partner that's helping you bring it together?
It was a mix. So one thing that I like in my teams is that we do take advantage of stack augmentation at some points, but you need to retain your knowledge. So I have a small to medium-sized team of employees that are like guiding the work of our partners. If you just depend on a partner without having people that is actually betting for
Absolutely
looking on your best interest, sometimes doesn't.
Yeah, but you also need to have them internally because they need to be your evangelists, especially in the franchise community where you're going to go ahead and sell to the franchisees.
Correct.
That they need to buy in.
Correct.
Having evangelists on your team that work with the partner because the partner can't do it by themselves. And just giving a partner a license to sell, you're just throwing them out there, right?
So you need architectural knowledge. You need actually business knowledge to put those things together, and then you can guide as many partners as you want. But we're doing heavy investments on data, partnering with data companies, and so every technology decision we make is a result of a North Star. So we want to have our stores technology, our digital technology, our data connected, so we can do things like personalization, AI-driven suggestions.
Right. Well, you got to bring it all together.
Yes.
But how connected are you really?
I am.
Well, then wait a minute. We don't know the definition of connections, right?
Okay.
So we got a connection going on here, but we need to talk about the definition of connections. So there's a couple of technologies that are here that I think it's to see Ecolab, who everybody thinks is dishwashers, right? Showing connected kitchen here. I've seen Comcast has a division that does connected kitchens. There's an open kitchen, right? So connection is not just, if you think about the four walls, we've got the digital connections with the customers and the employees. You've got the connections that are running in there, right? But you also have things like, and I'm looking at a booth across the way there that looks like it's got a kitchen in there, right? So how connected are you? Are you connecting the dots to energy management, sustainability, into the kitchens themselves, as well as everything else?
We're starting to do that. We're going all the way to the back office. It's not only about just the digital experience or the customer experience. We need to make sure that we also invest on technology that is going to make the life easier for our operators, for the employees. This industry is extremely critical that you don't waste. So you need to invest on energy management.
More and more. However, my observation, Asians are way ahead of us on that one, right? On sustainability and what they're doing, right?
But unit level economics is the key. So you need to make your store cheaper and easier and more efficient to operate.
And you can't sell franchises when you're just boosting up the operating fees, right?
Exactly.
You know,
So it is very important that it's not only the investment is not done only on the front, has to be all the way into every single thing that touches.
are you
the store.
helping them to purchase like in a package? Are you evergreening or doing a technology fee that just includes, or are you really relying on them to make the investments?
Yeah, we're trying to be advisors, and in every single item. I mean, not only in the connectivity, even the networking infrastructure, the way that things are set up, security.
Right.
So we go all the way.
So in the company, I'm going to assume that you have a technology advisory board, probably made up of franchisees.
Yes, we do.
Okay. Now, is that by brand, or do you bring the different brands together at the table because of the unified platform approach and have them at one time?
So when it comes to that, we have our operations team leading that,
Right.
to the coordination with the franchisees. And we do it on a brand by brand basis. It's important because everybody's going to have their,
Well, they have their own culture, their own personality.
and their own needs.
Absolutely.
So in their own business model.
But if you build on a centralized platform, you can just customize what's
That-
at
that
the
is
front, the
correct.
user experience, right?
That is correct, yes.
Okay, so is there some override? You know, I mean, we can ask here about the subjects that people are talking about here, subjects you're talking about here, but if we think about that, is there some overriding thing that your franchisees are asking you for? Like, what is it that they're asking for? Because in the past, you know, a lot of times they weren't asking for a lot of technology, but is there something that they're seeing in the competition stuff that seems to be the trend?
I would say the biggest thing is efficiency. We need to make sure that we make them worry less about things that they don't have to worry about. So you have a point of sale. Yeah, you go to a store, you think that it's going to work all the time. There's a lot of complexity behind that. And we need to make sure that whatever they have is going to be working to support their needs. They
Right.
can disable an item that they can, that goes all the way into the KDS. You know, the loyalty member that is they have been helping is a connected.
And for operating, I mean, you know, obviously, you know, labor has been a big issue, you know, and a challenge in the industry. Training has certainly been in there. You know, are you very well connected with the staff? What are like the turnover strategies to reduce turnover, you know, hire better people? You know, is there a big push and investment in labor scheduling, in content management training, you know?
And that's, I mean, it's going to sound like a cliche, but that's the reason that we are working on unifying our platform, because then you only have to train one platform, and you can develop.
Do you trade people around?
Huh?
Do you trade people around?
Train.
No,
sorry.
but do you trade? Like, could a person work? It would make it easier for them to stay with the company and work within other brands as opportunities come up too.
That happens. I mean, but that's the reason that our operations and brand team is staffed and structured the same way that the technology is. So they also doing a platform management. So
Right.
The some decisions are handled from the operations perspective to help everybody in the same way. So our processes are getting more and more standard, and that is the key.
And how you approach and how you invest and how you vet technology becomes a standard process too. And if you've educated the management teams and the leadership on that, it makes it easier to be safe in what you do, because you really can't afford to make lots of mistakes. I mean, it might be easier to switch something out because it's digital and it's online in the cloud, but you just can't afford to.
And that's
do
the reason that we work together, so we can make those decisions as a platform.
Okay, so with the few minutes that we've got left, so is this your first FS Tech?
Yes,
Okay, then. All right. Well, now you're in trouble. Did you go to the National Restaurant Show?
I did not this year.
All right.
I went last year.
All right. So are you living in Atlanta?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you know NACS and some of the other things have been in Atlanta. Do you go to any of those? NAFM?
Yes.
When I was there. Okay, great. So you walked around here, and is there something you came here specifically to see, and is there something that you saw here that you weren't expecting to see?
I did come for something specific.
This is going to air after we leave FS Tech, so we don't have to worry about everybody like pulling you aside while we're doing this. So.
Yeah, no worries.
Okay.
So I did come for something specific, But if I name, then I'm gonna leave some people disappointed.
No, I get that.
But
General technology.
correct.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Yeah. I'm here also supporting a couple of partners, doing some
Great.
work with them.
Okay.
But things, actually, this is not surprising anymore. It was surprising for me last year, or when I first joined. When I come here, I see exactly what was going on around. There's innovation everywhere. AI, it's all over the place. I think that's the future. That's where we are all going. How we use it.
Are your leadership, is your leadership and your operators concerned about AI, or are they embracing it?
We are embracing it.
You're embracing it.
Yes.
So they get it. They understand it.
They get it. They understand.
Look, if you can embed it in what you're doing and you're just giving them the output, right, the insights to manage better, and you help and coach and counsel, I guess they get it.
Yeah, we're very. I'm very fortunate to belong to a very innovative and very supportive ELT, executive leadership team, and we're taking it seriously. From all angles, security.
Well, absolutely. Yeah, the security angle is very big because of everything that you're doing here. But if you look at the AI, I guess one observation I've had here is the number of people that are really coming forward with realistic uses of voice and voice AI.
Yeah, drive-throughs is important. Agents is now the thing. Let's see where that goes. I'm still looking.
So I'm following that in call centers too, because you have customer-facing call centers too, especially when they're connected. The agent thing. Well, you're fortunate that you're in Atlanta. You have IHG Holiday in there, so you could trade, some information with your counterparts on the hotel side, right?
Yes,
because they're leading the way in some of that.
They are very much, and a lot of the skills between hotels and food are transferable. It's hospitality at the end. It's just major scale.
But they don't sit down at the table at the same time and compare notes.
No,
I know there's a CIO council in Atlanta, but they don't. You got to get people to the table that do the different things, and that's one of the things we certainly try to embrace as well. So.
Something to do that more and more. This Wednesday actually is one of the summits for the CIO community in Atlanta. So we're trying to bring those.
Are you
items.
up for an award?
Huh?
Are you up for an award?
Yeah. No, I'm not. I was offered one, but I
get these notes every so often. Somebody's up for the Atlanta CIO Council Award.
Yeah, I was offered the opportunity. I wanted to focus on other things.
Well, in the old days, they used to say if you made the front cover of CIO magazine, it meant career is over. Today, making the front cover means you're probably a leader in forward thinking. We'll leave it at that one, right? So, well, listen, it's been a pleasure to have you on here and have the conversation. I hope it's the start of many conversations, to come. And it'd be interesting to compare notes after the show, because I'm always interested in what people saw and, everybody sees different things, right? And you just miss it, those nuances.
Let's do that.
So, Manuel Valdes, the Chief Technology Officer of GoTo Foods, and we've covered an awful lot of subjects in a short period of time, so I have a feeling it's not going to be the last conversation that we've had here. And thank you so much for joining us on the IFBTA TechBytes podcast at FS Tech 25.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
This podcast is brought to you by the International Food and Beverage Technology Association. The IFBTA is the industry's voice of food service, hospitality, and retail technology, providing thought leadership as your single impartial and go-to resource. The IFBTA offers in-person and online communities to connect with your peers, the exchange, an all-encompassing global technology resource, and an industry-wide professional education and certification program. The bottom line is the IFBTA is your place to gather, learn, and share in conversations like the one we're having today. Thank you for joining us on this episode of TechBytes, powered by the IFBTA. I'm Rob Grimes, your host, and I look forward to taking our next bite of technology together.